Welcome here in the Royal Davis Wiener Technology Center, or the pilot plant if you want to call it. My name is Roy Smith, I manage the technology, and in this session for Food for Thought I'd like to talk to you about the roaster we have, the continuous bean roaster. Now, when it comes to roasting, it's all about flavor. It's about flavor, and that makes it a little bit difficult because in a session like this, how do you talk about flavor? Well, in cocoa, it's normal to talk about the roasting degree to develop the flavor. The key element for roasting cocoa is to develop the flavor. We like this cocoa flavor because it gives you the real chocolate taste. Now, we have in today's session we will talk about the continuous roaster, which is a principle which was designed a long time ago by Lehmann. So in the market you can find this also as a Lehmann roaster or a continuous Louvre roaster. We talk about cocoa beans today, whole bean roasting. This type of roaster is also suitable for nuts or peanuts roasting, but today it's about cocoa roasting. So, about flavor. First of all, to give you an idea where we are, we have the beans, we selected the beans, we took out all the rubbish of the beans, and then we start the roasting process. Unique about this whole bean roasting process is that the shell is still around the bean. And the shell will protect the inside of the bean, the nib, which we want to have to make the chocolate in the end, protects it against the really high temperatures. That results in a mild and gentle warming up of the nibs, or of the bean. So, typically for this roaster, what we say, we have a low roast and a high roast. These are examples where you have a same time and a different temperature in roast setting. Now, to explain to you about how this roaster works, I'm here with Dennis. Dennis is one of the people working here. He's our food technologist. And Dennis, can you please explain us how this roaster works?
Yes, of course. I was just setting things up for it to start later on. Yes, the continuous roaster. So typically used for beans.
Yeah.
This roaster works well counterwise. So the product comes in from the top, but the heat comes from the bottom.
Okay.
This is a small one, much smaller than our industrial one, but it gives a good example of how it works. So we have an inlet of air in here. It's pretty dark, but there is an inlet there. The hot air goes up, and every section will contain some beans, and these beans will absorb some of this temperature.
Okay.
What happens is, at the end, there's of course also an exhaust, because air needs to go somewhere. And if I start with, let's say, 150 degrees from the bottom, then the top part will be around 40 degrees Celsius. So if I touch this exhaust at the end, I will not burn my hands, I will just be fine, because all the beans have taken some temperature.
So, from 150 to, let's say, 40-ish degrees?
Yes, so you do not waste so much energy, because all the beans, they take in the energy, and that's what you want. And of course, not every layer is exposed to this extreme heat, and that's why we get a gentle roasting. Now, how it works in the center is, so the air is blowing, the sections, they start opening up from the bottom.
Okay.
And opening, closing, opening, closing.
To free up the space for the next level.
Space for the next level. Once they close, then it's allowed for the next section to drop the beans. So, and this is how it goes from the bottom to the top, each section.
But then, so the opening goes from bottom to top, the air goes from bottom to top, but the beans?
The beans drop down. It's just by gravity.
Okay.
Yeah, just by gravity. We feed the beans from the top. It's the same as in the industrial one, only here I do it by hand.
That's why you're so strong, huh?
That's why I'm so strong, yeah, correct. And they drop into this basket underneath, and we can just put it on a cooling table. But in the industry, they drop into a cooler to cool them down.
To stop the roast reaction.
Exactly, and well, that's pretty much how it works. And there's one more thing, of course, I forgot, the feeding rolls we have. There are cylinders that roll around and that will take some of the beans that are stuck within this compartment, and they drop it onto the first layer. And you can control this, and this is how you control your size on each layer. So the bigger the size, the less temperature is distributed over the whole section. So you need to be able to figure out how much is the best.
How much we have approximately in here on one layer?
So usually what we do is about 1 kg. But this is a very small one. So in the industrial one, it can go to 350 kg per layer or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Clear? Yeah. So what are the as an operator? What can I change to influence the roast profile? What can I do to make it a lighter roast or a higher roast or a medium roast or whatever?
So the first thing was that we just talked about is the layer thickness. So the more beans per layer, the less temperature you will have on the top layer. So each taken some of the temperature. Of course, the most influential is the temperature of the air itself. The higher you go, the more high of roast, or the lower you go, the lower roast you have. So the higher you go, you have more of this cocoa flavor, as we say, and the lower you go, you have more of the natural flavor. So if you go to
more of a chocolate-like,
yeah, exactly, more fruity. It's dependent, but yeah. Next we have, of course, the air speed. So we blow it in and we suck it out. So there's two systems. So you can change that. And well, the time of each layer. And this is, thank you. This is what we need to take account for, because you cannot go high in temperature and also high in time, because then you might burn them. So you have to find a balance. Inside, and we do not, when we talk about the roasting time for this one, we talk about the time for a layer and not for the total time. So then this can go to from 300 seconds per layer to 720. It's all dependent on the flavor profile.
So most important ones, if I understand you correct, is time and temperature. To get the right roast profile. Of course, this is depending on what you want in terms of the beans you selected into.
Yes, this is different for every customer. We do not decide that.
No. Some I understand. Some customers, they want to make this fruity-like chocolate. They keep the more of the fruits in. They have a mild roasting, and some of them want to have a real strong coconut, and they have a more of a
very high temperature, long time.
Good. Okay. Clear. So to explain to you, in addition, it's a really efficient roaster. So in terms of efficiency, all the heat goes into the product where you want to have it, which makes it a very, when I talk about energy efficient, of course this is then also energy saving. Compared to other roasters, you don't need so much energy to roast your beans to whatever profile you want to have. Now, the good part is we have a bigger one right now in the assembly hall, so we will start a video now to show you how it looks like on the industrial scale, to give you a little bit of an insight on from a small scale to a bigger scale, and then I'll come back to you after that. Welcome, this is the assembly hall. This is where we assemble machines, and in today's session we talked about the continuous roaster, and now in the assembly hall we have the industrial roaster being set up here. The real life version is too big to completely build up, so we build it up in modules. And if you come with me, I'll show you inside here. So this is how it looks like, and this is from the bottom up. We have two heating divisions because the roaster is too long for a roasting capacity of 4 tons per hour. So we need to have two heating sections for a proper heating of all the beans. Beans will collect in here and it will drop down, as you have seen in the pilot plant version. And we have in total 12 levels. Now you can walk with me through this module. So here we are with the bottom part. So where you see the discharge screws. So this is the bottom part. This part will go on top of that one. And you see all the louvers, each connection point here is a louver. I will open the door for you in a minute, but so by moving those rods, the louvers will open and close. We have here the middle unit, there we have the upper unit, and then from the upper unit, this is where you have the dosing rolls. So the dosing rolls are connected to the gears to constantly rotate, pick up the beans from the top and dropping them on the first level here. And then where the beans coming from, this buffer is on top of that one for a continuously feed of the beans into the roaster. So, well, you can imagine this whole length doesn't fit in this hole, so we build this completely up with the customer. Now let me open one door for you so you have a bit of an idea of how it looks like on the inside. So let's see if the camera can come here, but you see, so the louvers here, it's bigger, but important to understand that the holes in the louvers are the same size as we have in the pilot plant, and this allows us for an upscaling from the pilot plant into the industrial side of the machine. So that's it for this video. I hope you've seen now a bit of the industrial size. Now we go back to the pilot plant. Thank you. Well, I hope you liked the video. You saw the bigger one now. In the meantime, we started up the roaster here, the small one, where you can see how the beans are fed from the bottom to the top, how they will drop down. And of course, this takes a little bit of time. Now the feeding rolls are dosing the beans on the first level. And this will take a little bit of time because you need to roast. When this layer is filled up with approximately 1 kilo, then the whole roasting is continuous, it's ongoing. So in the meantime, when it's filling up, down here, the hot air, 150 or 160
degrees
is going up, and then it's going down. So now you see the bottom levels are dropping, it's emptying now, and now you will see this level dropping, oh, even down one more. It's making this opening movement twice, just to make sure that if some of the beans are stayed behind, they will fall on the second opening. So the it's free now, the next level will fall for 2 times. And this is a continuous process. So you set the time per layer, you set a temperature, and this is how the continuous roaster works. Thank you for watching this episode of Food of Thought, and I'd like to welcome you for the next session for the next time. Bye bye.